Do what?
I said we'll try to not be boring.
I hope not. Like that's isn't that like the whole point of what you guys do in the shop is to like not be boring?
That is our goal.
Do you succeed?
I think so far.
So far.
So, what is is it a thrift store or is it like a collectible goods store?
Kind of a little of both. We try to have collectible goods at a little bit cheaper of prices than a lot of things are typically for collectible goods, and we try to achieve that by finding things at a little bit of a better deal and not charging too much more for them.
That's reasonable. What are you poking him for?
Oh,
He
she
was
just said
like,
uncross
he
your
was like,
arms.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
let him be stiff and uncomfortable for the whole time. Just let it roll. Is this how you've always been, whether he's been in a band or on stage
Yeah.
doing comedy? Just
Yeah.
like, fucking lax, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
No, she is not normally a stage
Not
watcher.
normally.
Normally.
But today, you know.
You got to put your brand manager hat on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I've got my brand manager hat on. I'm the hype woman for Electric Larry, so I got to make sure he's all hype and no
Larry.
Larry. Yes. Exactly.
Why isn't it Electric Randall's?
So Electric Larry is a character from a movie. And I actually, the last band I was in was also named Electric Larry.
Copyright infringement.
You know what? You can't copyright a character. I already checked.
And we got approval from the band
And we got
members.
approval from the band
All right,
members. So.
fair enough.
But no, it was just we were just trying to come up with a good name, and it was good alliteration, and we joked around about and having like a whole mythology about Larry who finds this stuff.
Uh-huh.
And we're not really following through with that too much. Like, people know that I'm actually the owner instead of like this mysterious fake guy named Larry. But
I mean, it's still fun though, like the lore of Larry.
exactly,
Like,
yeah,
I'd write into
yeah.
that.
And we refer to like stuff that comes in the store. We refer to it Larry dropped it off, but it may have been something I bought. It may have been something somebody sold in the store. Like,
He also gives us somebody to blame if like somebody doesn't like our policy.
sorry, you can talk to Larry about
Yeah.
it. But
Sorry, man, you got to put your mask on. Larry's immunocompromised. It's
Yeah.
just
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Larry's gonna fire me.
No, we actually took a pretty firm stance on masks even before the new orders came through for the governor. Like,
yeah.
obviously everyone had to wear them, but like, I think our sign says masks required by law and human decency. So,
because it is actually in Carbondale the law and human decency.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, let's do the old click over here. And yeah, we're actually here with a couple decent humans for episode 13 of the WTF Carbondale podcast, the podcast where we talk to interesting people about their interesting lives and wrap it all together talking about this place we call home, Carbondale, Illinois. And I'm excited to have these folks here to talk for this episode because they are new to our little home. Meagan and Randall Majors of Electric Larry's.
That's our names.
So how did you that's our names. God damn you. Oh man. Now I almost feel like I know that Tyler wasn't the person that he was until you got a hold of him.
Oh, he was a magical individual when I met him. So I can't take any credit for it.
But he's in Cape
so.
Girardeau, and this isn't WTF Cape Girardeau. This
This
is
is
WTF Carbondale, so he gets his own. We'll do our own media production with him at a later point in time. But so how did you guys get to Carbondale, where you've only been since March?
Well, we got an opportunity to work remotely at our jobs back in January, and we started looking for a house in this area. I have children from a previous marriage who live in Cape Girardeau, and honestly, we were looking for someplace closer to them, but that fit a lot of the needs and things we were used to having in a city, like, you know, fun bars and places to go and things to do. And there's a lot more of that in Carbondale than there is in other cities in the surrounding area. So Carbondale was like a go-to for us. And honestly, the culture of the town just is a really good fit for us. Like, Louisville's kind of which is where we were living immediately before. It's kind of a very like weird party kind of city, and so is Carbondale. So it's like a more natural fit for us.
Good. Did you rubber stamp this whole?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I made her visit a couple of times beforehand.
Yeah, we visited, we thought about moving, out in the country to one of the smaller towns, and we just kind of looked at, you know, the people that are here and the culture and the amenities that are here, and decided that it would be more natural transition. And then we also need high-speed internet, which you can't get out in the country in a lot of places. So
You mean HughesNet ain't gonna fit the bill on this one?
Sorry.
What a shame.
not for my, 8 hours a day marketing job. So
That's cool. That's cool. And I mean, this is I love. This is I like doing these podcasts where I'm talking to folks I've never met before. So you guys fit the bill on that one, and then you're the first duo that I've gotten to interview for the podcast, which is pretty cool. It works out well because you guys have been obviously quarantined with each other. So
Yeah, we have spent a lot of time together.
more time than we ever thought we would spend together in the short amount of time.
Yeah.
But
We moved here 2 weeks before like all the restrictions took place, and so we had like 2 weeks of normalcy and going out and doing things, and then immediately just locked ourselves in our house for the next 3 months. So.
where you guys living at in town?
We live over on Pecan Street, like over by the hospital.
Ah, Pecan. You even pronounce it fully. Pecan.
pecan.
Pecan Street. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no, new homeowners in Carbondale, also a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you're looking to buy a home and you have a remote job, Carbondale's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
We got a house that would have easily cost us 4 times as much where we were living before.
I know.
Yeah.
And we got a great house for the price, and we're pretty happy.
Yeah.
So.
No, and that's not that I paid you guys to say this or anything, but I mean, this is what I'm trying to push on people. Man, housing is inexpensive here.
Yeah, you've got really affordable housing, good internet access. You have an Amtrak station. You have an organic grocery. This is the hipster dream, small town to move to.
It really is.
Thank you, Co-op. If it wasn't for you and your parking lot full of Subarus, we wouldn't be nearly as appealing as a community.
Hey,
Yeah.
every little bit helps.
So I mean, you guys are working remotely and all that. So obviously you're able to front the bills on a business and all that. But was the business? I mean, were you oh yeah, we want to open up a business in addition to do all our remote work, or were you just I got too much crap in my house and it's got to go somewhere else? Let's open a store.
I mean, that was definitely a factor from her end. I got laid off back in July from my remote job. She got to keep hers, thankfully, and got a severance package, and kind of just thought to ourselves, definitely in relation to the pandemic, just that life's too short. I've wanted to do something like this. I used to manage the Hastings in Cape Girardeau when I lived there.
Cool.
For a good 4 or 5 years, and I've always working with people, and it was some of the happiest times of my life was going in and selling people movies and books and stuff like that. And I know a lot about those kind of things, and so I just decided to go for it and start a store around it.
That's cool.
Yeah, he wasn't happy in his job and decided
No.
to not go back to another corporate America job and do this instead, and he's a lot happier.
Good,
So.
good. Well, and he's got somebody that can be his sugar partner.
Yes.
Exactly. Sugar Mama pays the bills until the store starts bringing in some more money. So.
Yeah.
Well, and it's arguably just the cost of living in general here.
Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Very, very reasonable. I think we looked into it beforehand, and before opening the store, and worst case scenario, we could live off of her income. So it was a great city to try to do something like this in.
Dope. Dope. Well, and that's it's what the eclectic shit in the mix of the bar and restaurant scene is what makes any sort of downtown entertainment district it.
Absolutely, yeah. St. Louis, you have Del Mar, the Loop. It's a combination of bars, nightclubs, and weird stores. Louisville has its own area, Bardstown Road. It's famous for its collection of bars and weird shops, and that's something that Carbondale, we saw definitely a hole in the market for it, because we've got plenty of bars and we've got a few weird shops, but we could always use more.
Yeah.
So.
And it takes one of you guys to get more of it going.
Exactly. You have to have individuals to make an effort. So.
Have you shopped around at some of our other places? The thing that just sticks out in my mind is Scott Thorne and Castle Perilous, which is a completely different.
I am a long-term customer of Castle Perilous. Even all the time I lived in Cape Girardeau, I would come up at least once a month to go shop there. And over the years, even when living in Louisville, we would make our way through Carbondale just to go there, even though it was a good 30, 45 minutes out of the way.
Wow.
Because I love Castle Perilous. Big shout out to them. They're amazing.
Yeah,
So,
I would say a large, or at least a good chunk of our personal game collection, like board games. We collect board games. I think we have like over 400 in our house right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But a good chunk of those probably were bought at Castle Perilous, honestly.
That's neat.
Definitely give them a lot of love. And there's a lot of other cool shops in town. There's, the Plaza Records. I've been going there off and on for years. Campus Comics, Mike's Music. Like, there's a lot of really good independent shops here.
Yeah. No, and it's just to drive by and see, it's like its own little movie, like that little block there that is Campus Comics,
Yeah.
Plaza Records, Mike's Music is
Honestly, if there was an opening there, I would have loved to have gotten in there, but because I feel like a lot of our crowd was already coming there. So.
No, I mean you're, and it's you just barely missed it because that head shop was only a couple months before you guys were.
Yeah, we watched that opening up. So.
That's cool. That's cool. And then like so Meagan, for on your end of things as a marketer, right? And something that drew me in to y'all was like, okay, cool. Well, you put out a brand, like a camera ready brand from the get go. Most people that are getting into business don't do that. And to have not had, a big base of, we've lived here forever and know a bunch of people going into this, you created a buzz around the business. Like,
Pro.
where's it come from?
Well, I've learned a lot at my current job. I'm in paid search. I do a lot of digital marketing in general. But, we sat down and we did our due diligence. Like, we wrote out a marketing plan. We came up with a personality for the store. We came up with, like, our target market that we're looking for, our personas, And, that's what it takes. It takes planning and then also following through on the plan.
I should say a lot of the coming up with the personality, though, a lot of it's just us naturally. Like, we're kind of goofy people and we just try to have fun with it. So, like, we wanted a store that, like, reflected our internal personality.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff we already know. Like, we know board games really well. Like, he knows all the comics and stuff really well, like all the Marvel and DC stuff. And yeah, it's
both pretty well read. So we have a lot of, like, we sell a lot of books in the store, and we're both, big book aficionados, and movies too. And we sell a lot of those. And I'm a musician, so music and stuff too. So
we have a business partner out of Cape who owns a small portion of the business as well. And he is an artist. So he kind of helped us, like, learn a little bit more about, like, art display and stuff that we might want to get for that as well.
Because one of the things we do in the store is we do local artists on consignment. We try to do really favorable rates, way more favorable than most galleries.
Yeah.
So that we can give local artists a chance to get their stuff out there and hopefully make some sales. So.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I got to get you guys hooked up. One of the folks that I've got on the line for interviews here, Cree and Marquez, who have a Project Human X. I don't know if you've met them or have seen their business at all. Yeah, but they do an art gallery, and they do, like, the paint and sip nights.
Yeah,
We
told you
actually
about
do
them.
know them. We're actually working with them on something already.
Phenomenal.
I had reached out to
You
them.
reached
I
out
haven't
to them
heard.
about
I have
working
not
with them
heard
on
back
something.
yet. So we are not officially working with
That's
them
okay.
on something.
I have a
but-
feeling that by half an hour after this interview, there may be some crossover, some connection.
Cool.
So I'll explain that one later when we're not on camera.
Cool.
Yeah. I've got them nearly coming in to do a to do a podcast
Gotcha.
as
Nice.
well. So, but I mean, and that type of collaboration, I think, is going to be something that yields, like, if not growth, at least visibility, right? And it's not always about, well, how do we grow these businesses to be big and blah, blah, blah. It's like, how do we just live and be
exactly.
cool?
I mean, my thing is I don't want to come across as, because this is not my intention, I don't want to come across as, like, the guy coming in from out of town to, like, just take from a community. So I want to try to give back as much as I can immediately. So, like, we've been trying really hard to provide, a space for local artists to put their art up, where we've reached out and we haven't gotten any. We've only gotten one so far, local musicians to, like, sell their albums and stuff if they've got CDs or cassettes or whatever they've printed them on these days. Like, we just want to help people out, because I've been a struggling artist before from the music perspective side of things.
What do you mean before?
Well, I guess I am. I'm just not currently in a band
From
right
the
now.
before.
Yeah, in the before the apocalypse. No, but it's just tough to go out there and, like, put yourself out there and not have an audience. So I try to help any way I can.
We'd really like to get to the point where, like, people know us as the place to go to, like, see the art and the creativity in this community. Like, there's so many creative people here. There's so much talent, and, like, I don't see a lot of that on display places, which it could be me, like, not knowing, but, we really want anybody to be able to come and, like, show their art or sell their soap or, sell their music that they made, because there's, like, a lot of talent, and we want to show it off.
Well, on the other side of it, you guys did just get here in March, right when everything literally snapped
That's true.
shut.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
we will get y'all a brisk of everything that is happening. And in fact, I mean, as I listen to you talk, I just think of the folks along the strip that are doing things that can tie into a much bigger collaborative effort. And from what Korean Marquez. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I'm gonna be a real asshole if I'm not. I'm an asshole either way. But the so there's that. Then there's you guys, JP Byler, who's a tattoo artist right here at the corner.
We're actually familiar with him. He was our very first customer.
Very good. Yeah, I saw what he posted out there. It was like it was some sort of figurine. Was it a Hulk? Was it?
It was a zombie.
Zombie Buzz and Woody.
There you go.
They were. Those were one of the artists we're working with, Doug Aller out of Paducah, Kentucky. Brought that in to sell, and we posted it online. And he had expressed interest in buying it even before we were open. So he came in literally as soon as we opened and bought it, which was great. So.
Yeah, Doug Aller. He has a shop down in Paducah called Aller's Oddities, but he basically takes he repurposes old toys and dolls and figurines and makes them like horror art, like creepy. We have this like creepy porcelain doll that's now like a zombie in our store, and just it's really cool stuff.
That's neat. I hate horror stuff. I will close my eyes when I'm looking around that portion of the store.
It's front and center, so you're gonna have to come in like with your eyes closed.
No, I'm gonna have to come in with my wife and let her hold my hand because she loves that shit and I hate it.
See, I'm a big fan of it. I obviously love horror movies, and although Jaws is a little bit less of a horror movie.
It's supposed to still scare you though, right?
So.
But I mean, so just getting tied in that. I mean, it's you're part of a bigger effort, whether you may or may not realize it yet, which is a really good thing. And you guys have a nice cheap little spot there. Yeah. I mean, it's. You'll come to find out as landlord relationships develop or don't develop. So keep your ear to the ground. Yeah, ear to the ground, always and forever. But enjoy the $400 a month or whatever you're paying right now in rent, because it's pretty manageable as starting out.
The real, what's the word I'm looking for? The real world on the ground reality of commercial real estate is a terrifying and frightening thing.
Yep.
So, but we're actually hoping to, by the end of this year, earn enough from the store to buy like a permanent location that's going to be like a building we own.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
I'm hoping to. So.
Rent's paid until August 2021.
So
we're thinking that.
So you guys are like.
Yeah, we're
tell
in.
people that shit, man.
Yeah, we're in, man.
Yeah, tell people if there's a marketing piece like, hey guys, our rent's paid till 2021. Like, come in and browse and shop and look around, but don't feel compelled to buy something now unless you aren't ready for it to go away. Because it could go at any point in time. But if you come, you're gonna come back in 3 months, and we're gonna have just as much cool stuff for you to buy too. Don't freak out that we're gonna be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
I'll work that in.
I'm sorry, I was a little babbly.
Got to do a little business.
No, I dig that. So that's the business side of stuff. Let's talk about y'all as people.
All right.
I got the plugging in, and I'm sure we'll come back to the business by all means. But how did y'all meet? You're my first duo interview, so I got to ask that question.
So
our best friends, our brother and sister, which is super cute, but we didn't live in the same town for, a long time. So.
I went to Murray State University many years ago and met a good friend and kept up being friends and visiting him from time to time. And he lived in Louisville. And I had gotten laid off from a previous job when I lived in Cape Girardeau and moved to Louisville. And
Why are you always getting fired, Randall?
I've never
It's
gotten
laid
fired.
off.
I've only gotten laid off due to economic downturns.
All right, those are both.
2008 was a bad time for the economy, and I got laid off then, and then kind of kept it going in Cape for a little while after that, but had to move eventually, and then, the recent pandemic.
Oh,
also-
I'm sorry. I thought you were like, and then Megan came into my life. Like I thought that was what that one was.
No, I was thinking of the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, and so I've had gotten laid off in every big economic downturn so far of my adult life. That's probably leads to a lot of my beliefs.
But yeah, so he moved to town, and then I would say 2 or 3 months later, he accompanied his best friend, who is my best friend's older brother,
To your graduation
to my
party.
graduation from undergrad party at a bar. So,
Yep.
and then we got kicked out of the bar.
Yeah.
That night.
I started a chant.
Yeah, he started a chant. They didn't like the chant.
Yeah.
They warned us about chanting, and then we got. And
What
then we
was
got
the chant anyway? It was like,
well, we can't. It was like Meagan,
oh yeah,
because I had just
It was
graduated.
our graduation party.
So then they came and warned us about the Meagan chant, and then we got drunk. We're just carrying on. We have a rowdy crew, and then we were like, yeah, let's go to Groucho's, which is this karaoke bar. So the entire crew was like, Groucho's, Groucho's. So they really did not like us chanting the name of a different bar and came and kicked us out. So.
And then about 2 weeks later, I asked her out on a date, and we started dating pretty quickly after that, and
Yeah.
got married a few years later. So
Our first date, we also were at. We used to do a lot of heavy drinking back in the beginning of our
Louisville
relationship, which
is
we
a
do not do
very
anymore.
drinky city.
But the first night that we went out, we ended up conga lining out of a bar. It was same karaoke bar. But yeah, it was like one of the most epic first dates ever. So
yeah, it was a good date.
yeah, we planned it in advance. We closed out our tabs. Our friend Natalie put in the Banana Boat song, and at the end of it, we all conga lined out with her in the lead. So
I like you guys. Thanks a lot. Like I'm glad you're here.
thank you.
I've almost got tears in my eyes. Like it's so cute. It's just so freaking cute. Like
Honestly, we are a sickeningly cute couple.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
times. We're like, honestly, like a lot of people like say like their spouse is their best friend. We really didn't have a problem like shutting ourselves off for 6 months during the pandemic. Like we got along great. We played a bunch of board and video games together and just like hung out.
We saw just each other for like at least 3 months,
Yeah.
and we still really liked each other. So
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. So
oh man, and the smiles say it all. Like
Yeah.
you guys just watching you talk, like the edges of the mouths are just etching up a little bit. So you went to college in Mobile, Alabama.
Murray State,
Oh, Murray.
not too far from here.
But did you say Mobile?
No, I said Murray.
Okay,
I said Louisville.
Louisville.
It could have been my Kentucky accent. I don't know.
It's just whoosh. Yeah, I think I literally only heard the Louisville.
That's how you're supposed to say it when you're from Louisville.
It's true.
So you went to Louisville.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you were in Cape Girardeau, you did not know each other at that point.
So it's funny that you mention it. We actually figured out later that we met each other about 5 times previous to us actually meeting each other. But all of them were kind of just the situation. Oh, here's my friend Megan. Hi, nice to meet you, person I'll never meet again.
Yeah.
But
Because
no,
he
we
didn't live there at the time,
yeah. I would just come into town like every 6 months or so and binge drink with my friends and hang
then
out.
Which is
the
always
Halloween before we got together, we met in costume.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I was like in a lot of like makeup and like a wig and stuff, and he was a Beastie Boy. So
Particularly one from the Sabotage video.
yeah.
So
But it was costume, so
didn't
I was
didn't click then
unrecognizable.
either.
So
So
Could have ended up a Revenge of the Nerds scenario.
hopefully with less questionable.
Oh yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I forget the lack of consent part.
I love that movie.
My
But going back and watching it as an adult, it's a cringe fest.
Yeah, no, that's you're right. That's kind of not acceptable. Period.com. So I was getting around to the college questions because I was going to jump back to Castle Perilous because Scott, who owns Castle Perilous, I don't know if you guys know this or not, is a marketing professor at SEMO.
I did not know that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did most of my undergrad at Murray State, but I did finish my degree at SEMO, so I also went there. So
Because you were like, hey, let me pay for college a bunch and then make that degree less valuable. No, I'm just that's just a little SIU SEMO rivalry, no big deal. No big
trust
deal.
me, my degree has been worthless my whole life. I have a degree in a double major of radio, television production, and history, and my adult career, I've either worked retail or in IT. So never have used my degree. So
Well, I'm even more excited to hear that like you've got that some of that RT background because everybody that I bump into, I'm volunteering them for a bigger, awesome project that they don't know about yet called Creator Dale. But we'll get into that in a more
keep me
private.
in mind. I'm happy to help with things like that.
No, absolutely. Well, my thought here is just get 100 interesting people that are creators doing their own thing, and then like all mash it all together as one bigger story, and just like let people tell the story of interacting with one another, and like having a retail front that could do a similar thing. That's got somebody who's got an RT background and somebody who's a proper marketer that happen to be in love with each other and well connected. I had to censor myself from saying anything more grotesque because in the like this is the type of skill set that's Apple here. Like you can find people that are doing interesting stuff, great, but finding people that are doing interesting stuff and have the ability to document it and then take that documentation and weave it into a broader story, that's not as easy to find.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, finding people who are creative and have the time and passion is difficult in general, but yeah, definitely finding for like that niche has got to be difficult.
Yep. No. Sorry, did the stupid thing of looking at my phone while trying to do this podcast to make sure that I didn't miss something that was seemingly important, and now I just lost my train of thought. Shame on me, bad podcast host.
It's okay, we'll forgive you this time.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you for that. I needed that. Blessed in the bubbly water. 3 shakes and a Hail Mary.
It's empty now, so
There is no redemption. So, have you guys like explored anything out, like done any stuff that's you could do without there being the quarantine in place, like any parks or
absolutely.
any other stuff?
we're big kayakers. And so
okay.
that was also a motivation in moving here, is all the wonderful lakes and stuff around.
Yeah.
So we spent just about every day off and weekend over the summer, like one of the many beautiful, gorgeous lakes, Crab Orchard and Devil's Kitchen and Grassy. We've been to just about all of them now. So
Done a lot of hiking. Like the hiking around here is amazing. So I feel like people don't realize what a gem it is, just like the natural beauty around here. It's so awesome.
very true.
It reminds me, I don't know if you've ever been to Red River Gorge in Kentucky, but it's kind of a little bit like that, but it's probably the most gorgeous place in Kentucky. So if you ever visit, you got to go.
It's like in the foothills of the Appalachians.
Yeah.
Is that like eastern Kentucky?
Yeah.
More so than,
Yeah, central eastern. Yeah.
Okay.
Like near eastern Kentucky, but more in the center.
like you can hear the hill people, but you can't see the
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good place to be.
hill people. Like the safest place to be.
Yeah.
You can't see the hill people, but you can smell their meth.
Yeah. Most likely.
That's not a banjo. That's just the meth head flossing his teeth with a guitar string. God, that image in my head hurts right now. Like I've got my it's like headache inducing. Not that I don't have enough of them already. You guys are kayakers. Have you been to Shawnee Hills Outfitters yet, right next to Quattro's?
I went in there before I lived here, but
Okay.
I haven't been in there post pandemic.
Cool.
So
No, you can. Rick's a good guy to go just shoot the shit with and like whatever. I mean, he's been in that spot for 30, 40 years, something like that at this point, just chilling. And if you're looking for anybody that knows how to run a packed full retail spot on a shoestring margin and operating budget, like I'm sure he's got all sorts of tricks of the trade that he could share with you about
Glad to talk to
being
him
in
sometime.
business in downtown Carbondale. So,
yeah.
and
No, it's a really cool store. Like I said, I've been in there, but not since we moved. So
before toe shoes were cool, probably. Lame. Whatever. Didn't even have a pair of toe shoes. No, that's. Let's see where I want to go here next. I'm all into this like friendly conversation that I'm less on like the podcasty like, let's get more about you guys and just like, oh man, we're hanging out now. Like,
good, got you off guard.
Yeah, that's it. You do.
Now we're gonna turn it around.
Oh, you guys are gonna ask me
And
questions.
it's gonna be a hard-hitting interview.
Tell us about this podcast. Like, what made you decide to start it?
Oh yeah. So
what's your story?
So the whole thing. I've been thinking about the podcast for like 2 years. And it's like there are so many stories that just don't get highlighted, and so many like really interesting people in this place. It's like I need to catalog this, and it's like I don't want to sit there and like write and tell individual stories and like, okay, cool, we can go read a book of stories. It's like, why not just make a living, breathing like documentation of the people that are here now and the people that will be here later, so that people will always know like what the spirit of this town is, and that is the people that exist in space here. So yeah, I mean that's really the story behind the individual and how the individual really affects the culture of the whole is what drew me in to do this.
Cool, great answer by the way.
Yeah.
For
Did you
putting me
have
on the
that, like-
spot, you did fantastic.
I think he had it written down somewhere.
He may have.
Oh yeah, it written
Yeah.
down in my brain.
He had the elevator pitch all ready to go.
I'm always walking around with an elevator pitch in my pocket.
I'm the same. I feel you on that.
Got to sell them on it, man. You don't know what it is until you have to sell them on it, but you got to be ready to sell them on it.
Yeah.
So what's back on the store stuff, because that's an easy fallback question. And what have you guys had any like? Well, first off, how long have you been open for at this point? Like, I didn't even ask that question. Like,
It'll be a week tomorrow.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't even realize it had only been a week.
Yeah,
You
we
got
opened
in
last
early.
Wednesday.
Okay.
So.
Have you had any like really interesting interactions with people yet?
I mean, we've had some really cool interactions. I had one interaction that threw me for a loop because I heard someone say something I never thought I would hear another human being say. They were talking about Van Halen, and they said, never really liked the David Lee Roth Van Halen, but once they got Sammy Hagar, ooh, that music went to the next level. And that is one thing I never thought I would hear a human being say. So...
I don't know music that well, so I can't comment.
Generally speaking, the replacement lead singer of Van Halen is universally hated by people. So,
Was Van Halen the lead singer of his own band, or was he the guitarist?
he was the
band
guitarist. He just passed away actually like a week ago.
Oh, I did pick up that part, so
Yeah.
I did understand that context
Gotcha.
to the story, but.
We have found like a lot of really cool stuff too. Like we've had people bring in some really interesting stuff. Like I just had somebody bring in, as a comedy person, you may know what's up with these and enjoy them, but we just got in like a huge collection of National Lampoon's magazines, which is like where all of like, your people from like who wrote for like Saturday Night Live and all of like the great movies of the early 80s all cut their teeth on comedy. And so I'm really excited to like look through them and sell them eventually.
That's phenomenal.
After I read all 200 of them.
So you guys are big readers as well. Like, I mean, do you do writing as well, or are you guys just mainly readers? You got real happy at that.
I used to write for a sketch comedy performance group in Louisville, and I've also write a lot of nonfiction type stuff, but not like I don't write a lot of fiction. I write humor.
But this interview isn't only about you, Randall. So
Yeah.
It's true.
I don't write either, so he answered for both
There
of
you
us. But yeah, I do a lot of reading. I'm wearing my Kurt Vonnegut shirt right now, actually. So, favorite author.
nice.
But what kind of books do you like?
I like news. I read news. I'm
That's
not
good.
like I'm just not like I don't sit down and like read a novel or read like a book. Like I like to read stuff from old politicians or whatever or current again current news. But as far as like reading like my wife or my kids read, I'm just not there.
Even when I was a little girl, I had like a book in my hand at like every meal. I would never talk to my family. I just like read the whole time. So I think that's how I got like socially awkward,
Well, I can know that Peyton, our daughter, is gonna is going to turn out just fine then, because that's the issue that we have. It's like I literally have to be like, I really appreciate that you read all of the time, but you need to put the book down and eat your macaroni and cheese. Like, you're at the dinner table, quit trying to hide your book.
Yep.
I got socially awkward the old-fashioned way. I just played a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So you would have, I mean, if you've been swinging by for Castle Perilous for some time, would you have seen Castle Perilous when it was in the upstairs?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Loved even back then, like, it was, like, much smaller space, but it was very cramped in. And when they moved over here, it was a lot better shopping experience, but still a great store.
Nice. Oh, shucks. Wow, I'm really dropping the ball this go around, guys. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know where I'm at such a loss for conversation on, but shame on me.
It's having the two guests. It's just throwing off your mojo.
Yeah.
Well, I keep trying to bounce back and like feel like making sure that I'm getting Meagan in the conversation, so it's not just the Randall show. And
But we are going to film the Randall show in like 2 months, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool,
absolutely.
Right.
But it's actually going to be the Randall show. It's not going to be Randall's own episode of WTF.
Ah,
Carbondale,
okay,
so,
cool. All right,
That's
down with
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to write your own jingle though.
that's fine. I'm a musician.
He's already
I
got
that.
one, probably. Put it together. Put
That's
it
his
together on the
elevator
spot.
pitch.
Yeah, I can pound something out. It's the Randall Show. It's the Randall Show. There we go.
Yeah.
It is clearly the Randall show. Where's been your favorite place to kayak thus far?
Oh, probably Devil's Kitchen.
Yeah.
It's just like the water's so clear and beautiful, and it's like crazy gorgeous out there, and there's bald eagles everywhere, and it's just like amazing.
The only downside is you can't really get out and swim much because of all the trees in the water. It's like kind of dangerous. Or I'm sure people do it, but like
You're
I don't
not
feel
supposed
comfortable
to.
doing it. So, but yeah, Devil's Kitchen, and then where did we go? Oh, Lake Kincaid was pretty good.
It was better than we thought it was.
But we
gonna
think
be.
it's better for a canoe because it has a lot of like vegetation in the water. So we feel like, our kayak is like a sit on top.
Uh-huh.
So you just like get lake water all over yourself. So yeah. But I liked Lake Kincaid too.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd y'all like get into kayaking and canoeing and
Our
whatever?
friends back in Louisville basically get together once at the beginning of every summer and do canoeing. We do a canoe trip down the Blue River in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time we did it, I think we had been dating for like 3 years.
It was pretty
maybe.
early on, yeah.
And we definitely almost broke up. Not really, but like if you ever want to test your relationship,
don't.
get in a canoe with your wife for the first time.
And do it when the water level is
yeah.
really low.
Yeah. We actually ended up switching partners with my best friend. So I got in the canoe with my best friend and made him get in with her husband. But the next year we went back and our relationship was much stronger and now we're pros. So, yeah.
I'm a pretty dyslexic, and it makes me have problems with like my right and my left. And so between that and like having to get out and drag the canoe like every 30 yards because it was really low water level, and then like you get back in and you flip it over, it was a terrible trip. The next year we came prepared. We figured out how to work with my weird brain to do directions. We started doing clock time, and then after that, we just became pros. And now we've been canoeing for like 5-6 years now. So
Yeah, bought a kayak last summer and we love it, honestly.
That's cool, because I can't comfortably drive a car with both my wife and myself, and let alone try and pilot a kayak.
Well, the good news is with a kayak, you can have a beer while you're doing it, so
Yeah.
it's a lot more relaxed.
You can't have a beer while you're driving.
Not in
I
Illinois.
make that
You
joke
got to go
as
to
a-
Missouri for that, man.
That is the truth for proper road study. Psych, your drink doesn't have anything in it anymore, so it doesn't matter. That was good though. That was good. People can't quite tell except for the fact that I just called it out because my head's over here like blocking your
Yeah, I got a drink
blocking
right
your
here.
soda. But
Seltzer water.
I'm just not a. Shame on me for living in a drinking town and not like really being a drinker. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, yeah, 21, 22, whatever, woohoo. But like now I'm in the 30s.
I mean, that's the same kind of way I am now. I will maybe go and get like a 6-pack of beer like every month, but not to the level I used to. I used to be like a 6-pack of beer every week. So
I was a bartender before I was in marketing, so
yeah.
I was doing a lot of drinking for customer relations.
Yeah.
You know.
Louisville bars are particularly intense too because they're open until
Okay.
4 in the morning.
What? It sounded like you said mobile again.
Louisville. That's the way it's pronounced to the locals. Louisville.
Yeah,
Louisville.
I don't know how I'm
Can't say
missing
that.
it, man. Like,
Louisville.
sorry that I'm going off on this like it's a big thing.
No, trust me, we're used to it. Like, people will come to visit and they'll be like, "How did you say the name of the town?" But yeah, that's all the locals call it.
And I get it. Like, I'm not.
No,
If I'm talking to some of these guys from Louisville, like I'm talking, I'm using that phrase. I'm not like
Yeah.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not like Louisville Slugger.
Yeah.
Whatever. But at the same time, I'm also not like Mobile, Alabama. Like it's.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with it.
No,
with
it's
it.
all
It's our
good.
Kentucky accents.
Yeah.
So where were you guys? Were you guys both born in Kentucky or?
I was born in Uniontown, Kentucky, which is a little tiny ass town right across the river from Shawneetown, Illinois. So
And then I grew up in Owensboro, which is really only like half an hour away from Henderson. So,
Nice.
which is near where I grew up. So
yeah.
So is this kind of like a nice anchor space? Like you can get to the kids, you can get to Kentucky family, but you're also not right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Close enough to my family and kids that I can visit them, far enough away from my ex-wife and kids that I don't have to deal with them. So, no, not my kids, but my family. I said kids, but I meant my family. My kids are great, actually. So.
No, that's good. That's good. I can.
But no, honestly, Carbondale's a really great town. Like, I think a lot of people are some of the people in the community I've talked to and met are like kind of down on things here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it's just, it's easier to say bad things about things than it is to try to make them better.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the things about this town are really great. And I think it just needs people to get excited about it again.
Well, another component to it is there's a lot of folks who are still at the right age to understand the heydays of this place. And for somebody that was able to see it in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even the early 2000s, they see it now and it's like it is nothing like the mass of people that it was then.
Yeah.
But as I always try and pitch folks on, like, now's your chance to redefine this place however you want to.
Yeah.
Like when a place doesn't have as many people, when its institutions are not as strong and influential, and when there is a sort of vehicle that's going to bring in fresh blood, and really I think that vehicle is what you guys experience, which is housing, right? That you're poised for, what is essentially a renaissance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And that renaissance is led by Electric Larry.
No, I don't want to take too much responsibility on my shoulders. Don't give me that.
No,
But,
I'll take the responsibility. Don't worry.
all right.
Mr. Carbondale is going to bring back the mojo.
I think Mr. Carbondale is a good way to phrase it. My wife says something much more much more vulgar about how I feel about this town, but she's absolutely correct. I am passionately, romantically in love with my city to the point that it occupies one of my valves in my heart.
That's great, honestly. Like we're right there with you. Like we haven't lived here very long, but like we really love this town.
And
so.
you're stuck now.
Definitely. So
And honestly, your Facebook group, like WTF Carbondale, like that helped us get to know the people and like connect us with all kinds of stuff. And then we also get to like sit back and watch the crazy shit show that happens sometimes,
It's
which
a
is fine.
fucking hoot.
It's so entertaining.
Oh my God.
I
It's so
love it.
good. Okay, so this is fun. I am just going to pick up my phone and mess with this right now because I can, and I'm going to and deal with it. So, let me flip through here. So the group, right? So not that you asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So,
tell us about it, please.
because you're right. Maybe the whole trick was flipping this around, and you guys are now interviewing me. The group I launched in January because it was like I couldn't keep up with doing a bunch of fresh stuff on a Facebook page, and it was stale out, like a bunch of snarky pictures and statements and whatever it gets boring after a while. There needs to be more to it. There needs to be evolution to the brand. So that's where the group came in. Like, let the people guide the conversation. And now the conversation is fuck you, Nathan Colombo. Oh, this is so funny. No, so like somebody like just 3 hours ago makes a post like, I understand most decisions made by admins, but I am definitely confused why blah, 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 blah. This doesn't seem inappropriate. Then I go in here and I read stuff like, censorship is strong on this page. Let's see. So there's censorship is strong on this page. Somebody says, I didn't realize why, but now I do because I know who it's run by. It's like, ooh personal attacks, jab. Good old fashioned WTF admins in here. And people are just like trying to hit me over the head with this stuff. Oh God. And then this little twerp who's like the kid of somebody who dated somebody that I know that's like, if you want a group that's full of freedom and liberty, Carterville connected, kiss my ass, Sam, if you're out there and you're watching this podcast. I don't give a shit. But yeah, no. So the group has been awesome though. Like just, so for folks like yourselves, you're right. Like it gives you insight into the people here. And if you're looking at it with a fresh perspective, obviously you're not honing in on one component or the other. You're able to see that in a run of 20 posts, all the different stuff that's going on and all the different types of personalities that exist here when you open up the comments section.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot of people being a lot of themselves in this place.
Yeah, that's what we like, though, honestly. Like, I'd rather have a community where people will be different and speak their mind, even if I disagree with them.
Yeah.
Just because, like, that's, what makes a town fun, honestly. Like, I can tell you, honestly, like, having lived in Cape Girardeau, nobody wants to talk about anything personal. They want to stay very closed off. It's not a very open community. It's
because the second tallest building in the town has Limbaugh's name on it.
True.
You look disgusted by that. You just had like this look like, ew. Ew.
Definitely one of the factors for why we didn't move there. So.
Yeah. It's a town that produced Rush Limbaugh. I'm not moving there.
Right. And it continues to produce Rush Limbaugh types. No,
It probably does, sadly. But at least our kids are pretty open-minded.
Yeah.
So
Good. And you guys are like me. You're young parents, or like parents that are, I mean, you're older now, but your kids are old enough that you're going to be like, freedom parents. We're in our 40s, and now the kids are.
Honestly, there's an upside to that. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm 2 years out from my youngest being an adult, and I feel pretty young myself. So, I think that's a pretty good space to be in.
I'm only 33, so
okay.
I would like to point that out.
Oh, even better. Now you really get to live the life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not too far off. That's like, what, a 5 or 6 year difference?
Yeah.
For you guys? Cool. And it's not like he was hanging out when you graduated from high school. He was hanging out when you graduated from college. So
Exactly.
That's good.
Pretty sure he was like already married when I graduated, or maybe already
I was
divorced.
married. Yeah, I was already divorced when you graduated from high school,
Nice.
but not hanging out at her high school.
Hey,
Yeah, definitely not.
first marriage was just like some sandpaper to get the rough edges off, and
I mean, the general thing I tell people is that I married a pot-smoking hippie and I divorced a Republican soccer mom, and I don't know what happened in between. So, but that's why you don't get married before you're like 30. So,
that's good. I can buy into that concept.
yeah.
I got a sneeze coming in. That's bad. Sorry. Excuse me.
Are we gonna have an awkward silence while you find the sneeze?
No, that was already it.
You gotta look up at the light. It's a trick.
I think that just makes you sneeze.
Yeah. Isn't that what you're wanting to do? Get it out of the way?
No. Well, I mean, yes, but no.
But he's
like
trying
when I turned this way, it stopped, and then when I looked up at the lights, my headache started coming back. So
Oh no.
it's good. It's good. It's healthy. That's what I needed. That's what the doctor said. The doctor was like, "Hey, you know what'll help that concussion? Looking directly into bright lights." And I'll be damned, he was right the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I the comedy thing excites me too. Like we've filmed a couple stand-up specials here in Carbondale. Like I'll introduce you guys to the comedians that we have here whenever things get back to being the point where we can have comedians congregating together. So in a couple years, I'll get to share with you guys all these people that are here. But, you know, it's just, it's cool. And like, again, to have that crossover of like, you're already connected with the Cape Girardeau folks and you're already kind of tied into the Louisville scene and whatever. It's like comedy in this little weird part of the Midwest, like, is regional.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like there's a thing going on.
Yeah. There's definitely a thing. Like I think we were talking about this before the podcast started. Dan Alton from Louisville is a good friend of ours. He's done shows here in Carbondale. He's done shows in Cape. We know other people who have like come through here and comedians and stuff. And
do you know Jamal as well?
The name isn't ringing a bell, but
Jamal Gardner, he's like one of his signature components is he's a Kroger employee, which is, I can't imagine its own thing, like working in Louisville for Kroger in the home of the corporate office.
Do
like,
know him actually? Now that you mentioned the Kroger thing, I think I saw him do. We both used to work at a bar called Kaiju that does regular comedy performances.
Kaiju,
yeah,
which means yeah, okay. So Kaiju, I know Kaiju because it's legendary to me. Just for Todd, who's out of Paducah, guy Holloman. He's the guy with the Twitters that gets viral and stuff, and he would always talk about going to Kaiju to do shows like every now and then. We used to both work there. She worked as a bartender. I worked the door as like the backup door guy, so I wasn't like there all the time like she was, but I did work there, and you know, got to know a lot of the comedians and stuff who worked there and did stand up there a few times. But you know, there's a really fun scene there, and a lot of those guys come through here, and they come through to Cape, and we've housed them. We're willing to house them at our house when they need to, and so. But you guys are gonna have the comedian crash pad.
I'm more than happy. Comedian and musician, honestly, we've already had musicians crash at our place. So.
Well, we got to get you guys tied in with the musician scene as well.
Oh, yeah,
Are you into music as well, Meagan, or is he?
I'm into music, but I do not play myself.
Okay, not play yourself. Sorry,
I'm more of like a behind the scenes person, honestly.
You're a string puller.
Yeah.
She's my Svengali. She's my Colonel Tom Barker to my Elvis.
Yeah, I totally understand those references.
Yeah, I don't either, so I don't know what you're talking about. I think people close to 40
old.
get those references, but people in their early 30s don't get those references.
So early 30s.
Yeah.
How about Malcolm McLaurin to my Sex Pistols? Do you guys get that? Does that work?
Still, I was born in 1989.
I don't even feel that old. Like I was 8 in 1989.
And yet still that feels like you're fucking crypt keeper now.
Yeah.
Simply based on that.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel old a lot lately, and I think a lot of that is having an 18-year-old kid who like tells me the way things are these days, and I'm just like, really?
Yeah, they taught us phrases like e-girl. Do you know what that is? It's the new emo, I guess, or like scene kid. But yeah, there's a new thing for that called e-girl or e-boy.
Yeah.
They taught us that. You know.
Did not know.
Just stuff like that where I'm just like, now I'm like, we haven't reached the super young population yet, like the 18 to 20-year-olds. So I'm like, do I need to get on TikTok? Like, I'm going to have Jaden, like, teach me how to use TikTok.
And then all your dad is going to belong to the Chinese.
I'm like,
there
I
you
know.
go.
See, that's why I haven't gotten it yet.
Right?
Okay?
Donald Trump's
but
made
it's
you
like
just as
gonna be
paranoid
on
as
my
me.
phone. I don't want to do it, but I also want our business to succeed. You know, it's capitalism is the main enemy here, I feel like.
That's right. And you must participate in it to fight it.
Yeah.
It's fucking awful world, man.
Hey, I will say this, we ran our business, we have one employee, and we gave them partial ownership of the company. So
there you go.
We're remaining true to our roots.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Wait, so you have an employee working for you now?
He's a partial
owner.
Okay.
Like you said, you know, we gave him a part of the company. He comes in a couple of days a week. A lot of what we do requires not only running the shop, but also going out and finding things.
Okay, all right.
And so it's have somebody to come in a few days a week to help out.
That's a fun part of the conversation that I lagged on as I stumbled through the other parts. How do you guys find stuff? Like, what is...
I have always been like a thrifter and a hunter. Like I go to yard sales, I go to thrift stores, I go to antique malls, I hunt Facebook Marketplace.
He has a knack for like finding things at a cheap price.
And so I've over the years, I've acquired a lot of stuff, but then also I've also met contacts who I know I can reasonably rely on to touch base with them and be like, hey, do you have books? You do? Awesome. This price? Great.
Yeah.
And just kind of collected, both people and stuff until I could find a way to open a store, and doing pretty good so far about finding things. So,
and from here on out, we're really wanting to do a lot of buybacks, so anybody from the community can come in and bring their cool nerdy stuff to us, and we'll tell them what we can pay for it, or we'll give them store credit, trade it out for something that you do want.
Yeah.
Like, you have something lying around that's just like taking up space that might fit our store, like, bring it in.
Yeah. A lot of what we do is like trying to find matchmakers for people's stuff, essentially. It's like, somebody really likes comic books. They want to buy some comic books, but they're not really into their CDs they have anymore. Bring the CDs in, buy some comic books. We'll find somebody else who wants the CDs, and we'll get their movies from them, and just
We got
the
a
circle
guy-
of thrift.
Yeah, we got a guy that like loves to buy. He's been in 3 times already
Yeah.
in our first week, which is really awesome. But he's like, yeah, I got a bunch of He-Man toys I'm going to bring in next time. And then like the next day we had one of our customers be like, you ever find any He-Man toys? And
That's
so
like-
like,
Fingers crossed we can make this
Yeah.
love connection.
yeah.
So,
Circle of thrift is a really good phrase.
honestly, like I like thrifting. Like I consider myself a bit of an environmentalist. I like the idea of buying stuff used. I like the fact that it like keeps money in the local community instead of going off to factories in some other country to buy stuff. I like the fact that like it keeps stuff out of the landfill. I like the fact that it keeps natural resources in the ground because it's repurposing stuff that's already there. Like it's really, they talk about the 3 pillars or reduce, reuse, and recycling, and thrifting is reducing and reuse and recycling sometimes too.
Yeah.
So it kind of like does a lot without a big impact on your life. So
I think what you're doing in that relationship building and being really the, that bridge between folks is going to be a key component to your business.
absolutely, yeah.
And I really dig that. Like having no real comprehension over the retail front that you guys are trying to, that you guys are running, it's not until now gears turn, and I get that. You guys are American thrifters. That's
Kind of, yeah. We actually watched a whole bunch of that show the
Yeah.
other day.
We're like, this is the next level.
It's free on Pluto TV. So
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I see where you're
Yeah,
going.
he gets kickbacks from Pluto for
Yeah.
saying that on your podcast.
That's okay.
can I get that check from you guys, Pluto? Thanks.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and I'll take my 10%. So
Yeah,
I'm walking
absolutely.
out of here with enough money to buy a stick of gum.
Heck yeah.
No, and really, I was talking about the creative trail concept and finding people that fit into this mix and whatever else. Like, legitimately, what y'all are doing, going out there and finding stuff or developing these relationships between people. I mean, you're a mix of pickers and pawn stars, and I think that I think it would be really cool if y'all found a way to document it. So I'm pushing you that direction, just playing that in your brain. If I was to say, check mark, now I only
Yeah.
need 99 creators, that number 1 would be
We can talk, definitely.
Major's Thrift.
Ooh.
I like that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I almost just said Major Thrift, but I was like, I don't want to leave out the S and just say the name incorrectly. But
I would have been fine with it.
oh, that's good. That's good. No, so you've had people like just come in and ask for stuff, and then the other person, the He-Man thing. So how do you facilitate a deal like that then? Like, do you
I
just
mean, we will probably, in that kind of situation, we'll probably buy the He-Man toys from the person directly, because you never know if the person who's looking for He-Man toys are going to want the exact ones that we buy.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of we'll buy the stuff from them, and personally, we try not to do too much of a markup on stuff. We try to make enough to live, but also keep it affordable for people.
Yeah.
Like, I, as a general rule of thumb, I try to buy stuff cheap enough that I can sell it about 20% or less than it is online.
Yeah.
So,
And that's not easy. Well, no, I'm sure maybe it
depends.
is easy. I don't know.
it depends. Sometimes I can, some things we sell in the store we can't make that much money on, but we like to sell them because we know people want them and it'll bring people in, like video games and video game systems. We buy pretty close to what we sell them for. We might buy them for a few dollars less, but that's it. Other things like books and stuff, you know, we buy pretty cheaply and we sell pretty reasonably. So, but we get a little bit better margin on them. So,
You guys have any Beanie Babies?
funnily enough, we got so when we were starting up the store, a lot of our friends gave us some stuff to like help out with the store, and one of her old coworkers gave us a huge bag of Beanie Babies. And I just had these visions of people coming in trying to sell their Beanie Babies all the time.
Oh, I can finally cash in on all those Beanie Babies with the cool font. That's totally supposed to be worth something someday, but is not.
We promptly put all the Beanie Babies in a bin with a sign that said 1 free friend per customer because we're not selling Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
So wanted to let everyone know in advance, we give them away. We don't want to buy them.
Oh my God. You guys could just be the Beanie Baby dumping ground of Southern Illinois.
If they want to give them away for free, we'll continue giving them to any kids or young adults who want a Beanie Baby, but we're not going to buy them.
That's great though. I love just anyway. I have this conversation too often and too much. It's real silly, but it's like the reason why we're in the situation we're in as like a country is because we're a country run by a bunch of people who thought that Beanie Babies were a good investment.
Yeah, I knew going into this business, like I'd said before, I worked at Hastings, which Hastings bought, we would buy movies and music and books, but we would constantly have people come in and try to sell stuff that we didn't buy, and Beanie Babies were like the number one. Like the amount of times I would have some lady with a garbage bag full of Beanie Babies that smelled exactly like cat piss, upset that A, I wouldn't buy them, and B, I wouldn't give her the $1,000 she thought they were worth. Yeah, I didn't want to deal with that. That was a rabbit hole that I just didn't want to go down.
A friend of mine just moved home and going through all of his old stuff in his parents' old house and got the bag of Beanie Babies out and did exactly what you were talking about, making like, oh, it's got the misprint on the tag and it's got 3 claws but only 1 toenail and like all the stuff, and it's listed for $1,500 on eBay.
Very rare.
And there are 83 people watching it and nobody's bid on it. And then it's just eBay's just a list of a bunch of Beanie Babies that people want $1,000 for that has 80 some odd people watching and nobody's bought any of them.
At this point, you're lucky not to take a loss on your original investment, which is like $5 or whatever, however much they were.
I think everybody's taking a loss on their initial
Yeah.
investment too. I think it's just going down. Oh my God. It was like Tina's Gifts. We were talking about this. We drove by and it was so on your guys' way to Giant City, as you're driving down Giant City Road, there's what used to be an old gas station before a mobile home park.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
painted
talking
out
about.
on you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, across from that, not a gas station anymore, there was like a set of little shops, and like in there was like a little gift shop. And I just remember going to grade school and like come back from grade school, and every like couple weeks we'd stop in and get a Beanie Baby from Tina's Gifts because that was the thing. And Tina was the pusher, man. She was running the racket. Shame, shame, shame.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now you got kids struggling to find like a Beanie Baby on the street just so they can feed their fix. They got a whole generation lost to Beanie Baby addiction.
Trying to shove little plastic pellets into their skin. Like, that's bad. That's bad. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Like before we jump out of the podcast, like we're an hour and 3 minutes in, man. We've made it. I've struggled this entire time because all I want to do is be friends with you guys instead of interview you. But
We
trust
finally
us.
made a
we
friend
finally
in
made a
Carbondale.
Am I your first friend in Carbondale?
Well,
We
But
didn't
no,
have,
I don't mean that like questioningly. Sorry to cut you off, Megan.
we just didn't have time to make any friends really. I've connected with some people through the local plant group that started through the WTF group. But yeah. You might be our first friend in Carbondale.
Right before the pandemic, we got recognized by
yeah.
a bartender as a regular at PK's.
We were
almost new regulars.
We were going to be new regulars at PK's. It was our plan.
We love a good dive bar. So.
Yeah, we love Kaiju's like a dive bar. Like we've been going to dive bars for years, and we were like, all right, we found our bar, you know. And it was like the third time we'd been in there, and the bartender's like, oh, you guys have been in. And then the next day it was like, bars will shut down completely for the next 3 months. And we're like, oh, this progress. But yes, I think you're our first friend in Carbondale.
That's exciting. That's exciting. We'll make you plenty more friends. You guys belong here. You fit here. People don't know they're excited to have you here yet, but they're going to be excited to have you here.
Yay! We're excited.
We
to be
do
here.
Do repair services.
yeah, that's-
Oh yeah, okay. So
that's
that's I was gonna ask that because I was like discs and stuff. Like
Yeah.
people go.
Oh, it's just I have a background in IT and in electrical repair. Like it's something that I've literally done my whole life. My grandfather was like a repair tinkerer who would people would bring him their VCR and he'd figure out what was wrong with it and send it back out. And it's just something that comes naturally, and it kind of fits into the whole keeping stuff out of the trash, ethos that we kind of live by. So we offer we'll repair stuff if I know how to repair it, stuff like video game systems, computers. We guarantee the work, but there's also we'll give a shot to anything. Even if I've never seen it before, I'll give a shot at it. I can't promise I'll fix it, but stuff like computers and stuff, I think you could throw me anything and I could figure out what was wrong with it. So
we also have a host of other services like pie in the face.
prank
For
phone
you,
calls.
Pie in the face is $5, but if you want us to
Take the pie.
If you want us to put a pie in your friend's face, or if you want to put a pie in one of our faces, it's $20.
10.
10?
It's
oh,
10.
okay.
It's only 10.
I haven't looked over the price list.
Yeah. Prank phone calls.
Oh yeah, we'll do prank phone calls. We do full service revenge planning, but we do make you sign a disclaimer.
And we do that by package.
Yeah.
So it's all customized. We have to know what kind of revenge you're looking for and what you're wanting.
Midnight serenades.
Oh yeah, we do midnight serenades,
Yeah.
and we do singing telegrams.
Singing
as well, if you
telegrams,
want.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're also trying to set up like a little recording booth,
Yeah.
so local bands can come and record a song,
Yeah,
or
we have all
if
the
you just want
equipment
to
for it. We
fuck
just have to find the
around,
room for it.
Yeah.
So
We're trying to expand upon these services, but yeah, this is what we have at Open. So
I think that's it too. Yeah.
yeah.
I wasn't ready for full service revenge planning. Full service revenge planning caught me. That's good.
Well,
That's good.
We can't compete with Amazon. You can literally get anything in the world you want. So what we have to offer is we're local, we're cheaper, and we provide services. And we got a lot of free time. We're willing to do anything for $1. So we put what we were good at on the board, and we're going to let it fly. And Carbondale can decide what they want to use.
Yeah.
So.
You do have to sign a disclaimer for the revenge planning that we are not responsible for anything that happens.
Unless it's good revenge.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll take credit for the good revenge, but we'll plan the revenge and we'll facilitate implementing it within the letter of the law. But if any legal repercussions, you're on your own.
Yeah.
I don't want to try and do this outro again. You guys okay with that?
Yeah. Sure.
That's been episode number 13. I had a lot of fun. Great duo to interview. Meagan, Randall Majors, Electric Larry's. Check them out on the Strip downtown right now, next to where New Kahala used to be. And if you don't know where New Kahala used to be, then maybe you should have been around here a little bit longer. This has been WTF Carbondale, the podcast where we interview interesting people about their interesting lives. Tie it all together to this little old place we call home. And I guess as I'm trying to say at the end of all of these, have a good one, whatever that one may be.